And there we are. Good evening and welcome to the Yountville Finance Authority special meeting for Tuesday, September 19th, 2017. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Durham.
Here.
Councilmember Dorman.
Here.
Councilmember Mueller.
Here.
Vice Mayor Dorenbecker.
Here.
Mayor Dunbar.
Here. First item is to adopt the agenda for the Yountville Finance Authority. Is there a motion to adopt our agenda?
So moved.
Did you want to practice your... Okay. We're giving Julie a chance to...
Okay. Second.
Is there a way for us to actually do it on here?
No.
Not yet.
Mine, I can't do it on mine.
Okay, so anyway, Vice Mayor motioned. Is there a second for the adoption
Second.
agenda? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes. I'll just note that I was absent on January 17th, so I think automatically abstained from that approval. So with that, is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 17th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 17th.
Second.
I'll second.
Vice Mayor second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment. I see all the public is here for this item, so we'll move right on to we have no consent calendar, so we'll move to our item for consideration, adoption of resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of lease revenue bonds as stated here. Maria.
Great, thank you, and good evening, Council. We're here this evening to have the Yountville Finance Authority consider basically the refinancing of our lease revenue bonds for the 2008 financing project, which basically financed the facelift and restoration of and redoing of our community center. And so here with us this evening for your meeting tonight, and then also for the council meeting, we have Jeff White with Columbia Capital, Pamela Becker, Vice President with Columbia Capital, and then Brian Quint. He's our bond counsel with Quint and Thinning. So the entire team that's been working with us, that worked with us last time, is here this evening to answer any questions and provide any kind of background that you might need. I know you have a complete packet with all the information that's been provided for you as well. Basically, the short story on this item is that should you choose to refinance the debt, the town stands to benefit to the tune of about $2.5 million over the course of what would have been the life of the bonds. So from fiscal year 2018 to 2039, the average savings would be about $120,000 a year. In 2018, the estimate is $100,000. In all the other years, it'll be about $120,000. The current interest rate for the bonds we hold now is about 4.75, and the expected rate, which of course is not final yet until everything is approved and next Tuesday when the bidding is done, is about 3.15%. So all stands to be a good financial decision in our favor. I will leave it at that because I know you have a very hefty packet, and I know that our staff is here to provide you with more detailed background if you would like it.
It's a good way to end what you just said. Any questions of the staff report? I do want to provide an opportunity, since you're here early, if there's anything that you would like to add.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, pleasure to be here. No, Maria covered it. You've got the highlights. Certainly happy to talk about if you've got any questions about the documents you have in your packet, the mechanism by which we're going to offer the bonds, the details about how this wacky lease-back structure works, any of that. Happy to talk about any of that at the pleasure of the group tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think if we do have any questions, we can ask them now. Later this evening in our regular council meeting, it should be basically perfunctory that we're taking action on what we're taking action on here. So if there are any questions or if there's a motion to be had, we can...
I have a couple of questions, please. Who reviews the POS and the OS on our behalf and makes sure that everything is properly represented?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, council member, Quinn Timmick prepared the preliminary official statement, so bond counsel is also serving as disclosure counsel on this transaction. Our firm reviewed the preliminary official statement. We worked very closely with staff to make sure, particularly with respect to the kind of Appendix A type items, that staff was comfortable with the information in there. And of course, the rating agencies are looking at the same information and asking quite a bit of questions about that as well. So pretty thorough review, and obviously you're aware it's been an issue of particular significance with the Securities and Exchange Commission lately, but certainly something that we spend quite a bit of time on to make sure it's right.
So bond counsel and disclosure counsel are one and the same?
Correct.
And what is the total transaction cost to the town after you get in the FA fees and bond counsel fees, disclosure counsel fees, et cetera?
Let me look at our latest estimate here. So we're expecting a total transaction size of roughly $9 million in par. That'll likely change, almost always changes as the result of the sale itself, a little bit anyways. We are projecting cost of issuance at roughly $132,000. That's counsel, financial advisor, rating agency, trustee, title insurance. That covers most of them. We're planning to offer the bonds via competitive sale, which is kind of an analog to a sealed bid. So we invite any registered broker-dealer in the United States to show up at 9 o'clock next Tuesday morning, place a bid. It's all done electronically now, fortunately. And the winning bidder is determined by whoever provides us with the best market rate at that particular time. So in a competitive sale like this one, the underwriter sets their own compensation. We tend to find that underwriter's comp is a little higher in a competitive transaction than in a negotiated one. So we've modeled the bonds assuming $11.50 per thousand of bonds, which is about $135,000 on this transaction. Could be more, could be less. And because of that competitive bidding process, we really kind of don't care, because that compensation for the underwriter is built into the rate that they're bidding. So if their fees high enough, they're probably not going to be competitive on rate. So we let the market determine what that comp's going to be.
And
yeah, so Brian just reminds me that the savings number that Maria gave you a second ago is already net of all of those transaction costs.
okay. So in the resolution that we have before us, there is what appears to be a defined term, capital D designated, capital O officer or officers. Who are those people on our end or your end?
The designated officers are, hello, I'm Brian
Hi.
Coyne.
Nice to
The
meet you.
designated officers are the officials of the city that are authorized to execute documents on behalf of the city. So in this particular case, the designated officers are the mayor, the city manager, the town manager, and the finance director are the people that the council and the board. So for the authority, it's the chair, it's the executive director, who's equivalent to the town manager, and the treasurer, who's equivalent to the finance director. Those are the designated officers for the authority. On the town side, it's the mayor, the city manager, and the finance director. These are the people who you, as the board, are authorizing to execute documents on behalf of the town.
Thank you. And so they have some discretion, correct? If the bids come in,
They have
Did I
some
read correctly? They have
discretion,
discretion?
subject to the parameters that are built into the
the
resolution. And I think
parameter
we-
is 4%?
Correct. So as long as you have a 4%, well, of course, what you're saying, you're providing authority, assuming you do, that says when the bids come in, as long as we have a 4% present value savings, you staff, you're authorized to consummate the transaction. Frankly, we expect the savings to be substantially higher than 4%, but we put a floor because we would hate to say 7 and it comes in at 6.9 and then we have no authorization. So we give a bit of leeway here, but the expectation is that the savings will be substantially more than 4%.
And is the 4% tied to the 100 to 120,000 savings per year?
Correct.
Okay.
No, the 4%, no, that's not correct. I'm sorry.
The 4% is present value savings over refunded par.
And so does that translate to the savings you're telling us?
No.
Does our
So
floor, what percent translates to the savings you're telling us per year?
We're modeling right now around 13% present value savings. So about 3 times what the floor is.
Okay.
4 times. 3 times.
We're here.
We hear 5.
But again, we're put in general, historically speaking, 3% was where people went to the market if they could save 3% present value savings. We could make it higher. I mean, as Jeff indicated, we expect the savings to be north of 10%. We just put a number, 4%, and if the council thinks they'd like to have a floor that's higher than 4%, you certainly can make that change before the resolution's adopted. We picked a number that was in the area of where the market generally is for doing refinancings.
I'm just trying to get to, I mean, to me, the selling point on this is we're going to save $100,000 to $120,000. Are you saying that if we only come in at 4%, we're saving only 1/3 of that?
That's right.
So we could be in a position to save only $40,000 a year.
Correct.
Worst case.
Correct.
Because we wouldn't sell the bonds at less than that.
That's right. And if you feel that that's too low of a level, that you don't want to do the financing at 4% savings, then you can say, well, before the resolution's adopted, change the 4 to 6 or 7 or whatever you feel comfortable with, where you think the floor is. The market's excellent right now, and the expectation is that, and I think these numbers that have been prepared by Jeff and his staff are conservative, so we don't expect that you're going to get much lower than that. But the market's the market, and we're going to hit the market next week. It's a competitive sale. You're a highly rated credit, a very strong name. Everybody wants to come to Yountville, so we expect that you're going to have a lot of activity, a lot of bids, and the savings are going to be way higher than 4%.
You're right. We are very fortunate in that. But just to keep a little bit more on the numbers, if I'm assuming from what Maria said, our average, what we're paying right now is 4.75, and we're looking to gain or go lower to 3.15. Does that give us the $100,000 savings?
Yes,
So that's what we're looking for, is 3.15 or less.
that's right.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there a motion on the resolution as presented?
I just have one addendum for council before you move, sorry. So
Okay.
just so that you know, because these are moving rates and such, everything in the resolution and in the POS is going to be adjusted with the correct numbers to reflect that. Just wanted to make
As
sure.
of Tuesday.
I disclose that, yes. So, please.
Now is there a motion to adopt the resolution as it's presented? Anyone? Motion?
I'll make a motion
Thank
that we approve resolution, I'm going slow, so I have it. Resolution number 17-06, resolution of the Yountville Finance Authority authorizing the issuance and sale of lease revenue bonds to refund the outstanding Yountville Finance Authority 2008 lease revenue bonds, Yountville Town Center project, approving the form and the authorization and authorizing execution of related documents and approving official actions.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Are you using the vote cast?
No.
It's not public.
Okay.
So that does pass. Thank you very much for the explanations and the answers to those questions. We have no other business as the Finance Authority, so I'll adjourn this meeting of the Yountville Finance Authority, and we will reconvene in 15 minutes as the Yountville Town Council. Thank you.